Perhaps the dead do send messages, or at least their bodies send messages, as in the case here. I'm on Cumberland Island, Georgia, and this is the grave of General Henry Lee, better known as Lighthorse Harry Lee, better known as the father of Robert E. Lee. And he was traveling from the West Indies back to Virginia and got sick off the coast of Georgia here. So they brought him here to his good friends, Catherine Green, who was now remarried. Her name is Miller. And she took care of him. He died a month later. And so he was buried here. His son, Robert E. Lee, visited the grave many times and actually had a gravestone put in this little cemetery here to remember his father. Interestingly, in 1913, the Virginia State Legislature passed a law to move the remains of Henry Lee back to Virginia. And so it was. And he was laid to rest next to his son, Robert E. Lee, in Lexington, Virginia, at Washington Lee University. What's interesting about this, that 1913 comes at a period of the height of the lost cause narrative. Between 1890 and 1920 was the greatest number of lynchings in the U.S., racially motivated lynchings, that is. Between 1890 and 1920, we saw a rise of a lot of Jim Crow laws. Mississippi did a new Jim Crow Constitution in the 1890s. There were a lot of things. Confederate monuments, 1890 and 1920 was the height of the building Confederate monuments. So perhaps that's the message here. In 1913, this body was moved. One other thing that happened in that time period, in 1915, was the forming of the Second Ku Klux Klan. So his body was moved in 1913 to join his Confederate general son, Lighthorse Harry Lee. Is there a message?